What the fuck is up, everyone? Prism Metaler here, and I think I'm ready to do a re-rank on Trivium, since I've heard way too much of In the Court of the Dragon today. So, like, I listened to a shit ton of songs. I almost heard this album all day today, and it comes a re-rank of Trivium albums from worst to best. Plus, my ranking on them has changed. Not only that, my ranking on them has changed a lot since my last ranking. So this is going to be a re-rank on Trivium from worst to best, or actually, it's going to be changed. My least listened to. It's the albums I go back to the least to the albums I go back to the most. As some of you know, the new album, In the Court of the Dragon, came out today, or today it came out today, but the day I'm recording, but it probably won't be released the time. Probably might be uploaded tomorrow or next day, I don't know. So let's go ahead and get started with the re-rank. So enough long intros. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, now starting up at number 10, my least favorite. It may piss several people off, but not a whole lot. But it's not a bad album at all, just so y'all know. And it's going to have to be their debut album, Ember to Inferno. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a cool startup for the band. I'm not going to lie. But I have to say, this is my least favorite Trivium album. It's pretty rare that I put debut albums as my least favorite. It's very rare that I do that. But the reason why I do for this one is because I don't really go back to it that much as the other Trivium albums. That's the main reason why. But the songs that I do go back to the most would be Pillars of Serpents, Ember to Inferno, To Burn the Eye, My Hatred, and When All Light Dies. So those are the 5 songs that I would go back to whenever I listen to them. But so yeah, I just don't listen to this album that quite often. So this would have to be my least favorite nowadays. I'll say it's a cool debut album for them. It's far from bad. So yeah, I mean, it's a cool start for this band, a cool metalcore debut, but Ember to Inferno is my least favorite by Trivium. So yeah, Ember to Inferno goes in at the bottom at number 10. Okay, now at number 9, I got Silence in the Snow. So yeah, Silence in the Snow. I think the last time I ranked it, it's in my least favorite, but now it moved up a bit to my second least favorite. It's because it has better production than their debut, I would say. It's still not one of my favorites, but I do enjoy this album nonetheless, but I don't love it or anything like that. It's not a masterpiece album or anything, but it's a really great album. I know many people would hate this album because it's their most mainstream sounding album, because there's no harsh vocals in it due to Matt Heafy's vocal injury he had back at Visions Falls tour, that he blew his voice up, which that he can barely speak, so his doctor advises him not to use harsh vocals for a while. So that's the reason why there's no harsh vocals in this album. It's a cool album, but I don't love it, but it's a cool album. I kind of like the change for it with this album, I'm not going to lie. But the songs I do like from Silence in the Snow, let me look here. There we go. Alright, the songs I do like from, or that I go back to the most from Silence in the Snow is Silence in the Snow, Blind Leading the Blind, Dead and Gone, Ghost is Haunting You, Until the World Goes Cold, Breathe into Flames, and their bonus track, The Darkness of My Mind. So, yeah, those are the songs I would go back to, but it's not one of my favorites. It's nowhere near their best, but it's a nice change for the band, though. I will give it that. So, yeah, Silence in the Snow would have to be my second least favorite at number 9. Okay, now at number 8. This may piss several people off, but I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But it may be shocking, but it's going to be the Crusade. I do like this album. Don't get me wrong. I do enjoy it. But it has to drop down to number 8 because this album has several filler songs on there. Plus, I don't go back to it that often. I do go back to it slightly more than I do with Ember to Inferno and Silence in the Snow. The reason why I put it at 8 is because I feel like the songs from there are stronger than the albums I put down below. And the songs I would go back to is Ignition, Detonation, Anthem, We Are the Fire, Becoming the Dragon, To the Rats, Tread the Floods, the instrumental track Crusade, and Vengeance. So the Vengeance is the bonus track. This album is also hated just because it sounds like a ripoff of 80s era of Metallica, since Matt's vocals sound so much like James Hetfield, and it's almost clean vocals, but there is harsh vocals on a few songs, but there's barely a lot of harsh vocals on there. So the Crusade will have to be at number 8 for me nowadays. So yeah. Okay, now number 7. Excuse me. I got Vengeance Falls. As all you know, Vengeance Falls, it's a lot similar to In Waves, but it has more of the mainstream sounding, except this album does have a lot of harsh vocals on there. Not as much as their usual albums, but it does have a great amount of harsh vocals on this one. And here's a fun fact about this album. It's produced by David Draiman, the lead singer of Disturbed. In case y'all didn't know about that, he produced that album. I think this is his first album that he produced, which is a pretty strong debut of producing. But anyway, so yeah. Songs I do like from here are... Let me look here. Damn. Alright, here's the songs that I do like. Brave the Storm, Vengeance Falls, No Way to Heal, Villainy Thrives, Incineration, The Broken World, Wake, The Endless Night, and 2 bonus tracks, No Hope for the Human Race and As I Am Exploding. So, yeah, pretty cool album, but it's not one of my favorites, so Vengeance Falls will have to come in at number 7. Okay, now, number 6, I got What the Dead Men Say. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, god damn. Excuse me. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, my thoughts on this album nowadays. It's a great album, but I feel like the songwriting on this album is very rushed. It sounds like they just really hurrying up with the album. They just feel like they don't really want to make the album, but they just fucking did it anyway. And the songs sounded like leftovers from The Sin and the Sentence. I mean, those are really great songs, but even though this album came out 3 years after The Sin and the Sentence. So, yeah, it's kind of a rushed album for me, but It doesn't sound broken or anything like that. The production is still crispy and clean and all that. So yeah, just a standard Trivium album, I would say. So the songs that I do like from here are... Look at my list. Alright, here are the songs. What the Dead Men Say, Catastrophist, Amongst the Shadows and the Stone, Defiant, Sickness Onto You, Scattering the Ashes, and The Ones We Leave Behind. So, yeah, I would not say it's a disappointment album because I don't really expect it to be their best. I know I briefly said that in the past. I said it's better than Sin the Sentence, but it's because I heard it only once whenever I reviewed it. So I decided to give it a lot more listens and it started to sink down a bit. So yeah, just like I did with In the Quarter of the Dragon, which I will get to that once I get there. But anyway, we're not talking about In the Quarter of the Dragon right now. So yeah, What the Dead Men Say would have to be at number 6 for me. So yeah, cool return, but far from their best. Alright, now number 5, I got In Waves. Just so you know, yes, this is going to be the extended special edition that I'm talking about in this rank, not the standard version. So yeah, this is the extended version that I'm talking about, guys. This one, I do have really great memories with this album. As all we know, Trivium, one of my favorite bands for years. So I do have really great memories with this album, and it used to be in my top 3 a long time ago until they got Sin of the Sentence, and it dropped down to number 4, and then they got In the Core of the Dragon came out, and then it dropped down to 5. So now, In Waves is as high as I can put it for now. I do have really fond memories with that album. It's a Return to the Roots album from their first 2 albums. And I forgot to mention, this album, as all we know, from their first 4 albums, the first 2, they used the drop D tuning and standard tuning on a few songs. And then starting from Crusade, they use 7-string guitars. And then now starting with this album, they use the drop C. Well, not drops. Well, actually, it's half step down drop C tuning. So it's half step down. And they've been using that ever since. But they no longer use the 7-string guitars on this album. But they brought it back in Silence in the Snow. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, this is the Return to Roots album. Really great comeback album, as you may know. And I think this is their first album with Nick Gusto. I think that's his name. On drums. So, yeah, he's only on 2 albums by then. That and Vengeance Falls. Silence in the Snow has a guy named Matt. I forgot his last name. On drums. But anyway, here are the songs that I do like. I would go back to. Let me look at my list here. Okay, here are the songs. In Waves, Inception of the End, Dust Dismantled, Watch the World Burn, Black, Skyline Severance, Caustic Are the Ties That Bind, Forsake Not the Dream, Drowning in Slow Motion, A Grey So Dark, Chaos Reign, and Shattering the Skies Above. As you may know, on the special edition, instead of putting the bonus tracks at the end of the album, they use the bonus tracks in the middle of the album, which it's very uncommon for albums, but I wouldn't say it's rare that they do it, but it's very uncommon. That's pretty much I have to say here, guys. So, In Waves will have to be at number 5 for me. Alright, now number 4. Maybe controversial, but not really. But I'm going to have to pick Ascendancy. I love this album. Don't get me wrong. Now, oh, by the way, starting at number 4, this is where I like all songs. I'm going to let you guys know that. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. I do adore Ascendancy album, but I just like my top 3 more. Yeah, it's just a perfect metalcore classic album, but Ascendancy, metalcore masterpiece, classic album. So I have to say here, so I like all songs, so here are the songs, including the 2 bonus tracks. I don't like the Master of Puppets cover that much. I like the original more. I'm not a fan of their covers, to be quite honest. But anyway, Ascendancy. Sorry, guys. Had Mexican food. They're my favorite. Alright. Rain, End of Everything is the intro, so I'm not including that. Pull harder of the strings of your martyr. Drowned and torn asunder. Ascendancy, a gunshot to the head of trepidation. Like light to the flies, dying in your arms. The deceived, suffocating sight, departure, declaration, and then the 2 bonus songs. Blinding tears will break the skies and washing away me in the tides. So, yep, those are all the songs I do like from this album. Definitely a metalcore masterpiece. So, yeah, Ascendancy will have to be at number 4 for me. Okay, now number 3. Top 3. I got The Sin and the Sentence at number 3. So, yeah, I fucking love this album. I loved it ever since it came out 4 years ago, and I still love this album today. I love all 11 songs from this album. It's just perfect. Very mind-blowing. I fucking love this album. So, here are the songs. The Sin and the Sentence, Beyond Oblivion, Other Worlds, The Heart from Your Hate, Betrayer. Now, Betrayer is what got me very hyped for this one. I remember listening to Betrayer. I think Betrayer was their 3rd single from the album. And goddamn, I was blown the fuck away. I thought, as all me know, well, you know what, I'll explain later. The wretchedness inside, endless night, sever the hand, beauty in the sorrow, the raven kissed, and thrown it into the fire. Okay, now Betrayer. As y'all may know, this album brought back Matt's harsh vocals since their previous album was Silence in the Snow, which was absent from that album. And they brought it back. As y'all may know, the first single, it comes. I thought it was a nice song, and it brought back Matt Heafy's harsh vocals. And then we got Heart from Your Hate, which for me, I thought it sounded like a leftover from Silence in the Snow. And then once I heard, okay, before I heard Betrayer, I thought it's going to be like, it's one of those standard albums. And then when I heard Betrayer, holy shit, it blew my mind up. And it still does today. I fucking love Betrayer. That's one of my favorite Trivium songs of all time. Blew my ass away from the start. So, yeah. It's because I never thought Matt Heafy's vocals predictable, and then as well as the middle section, and the fucking drumming from Alex Ben. This is their debut album with Alex on drumming. That's pretty much it I have to say for this one. So yeah, this is an amazing album. It's a very unpredictable album from Trivium. So yeah, Sin and the Sentence will have to be at number 3 for me. Alright. Number 2 is gonna be their new album, In the Court of the Dragon. Nope, not number 1, guys. It's close. I'll admit, it's close. Now, I've done my review on it the other day, so if you want to check that out, the link will be in the description. I thought it would be at the in the sentence level or slightly lower when I first heard it, and holy shit, I love this album. I enjoyed this album much more than I thought I would enjoy. So, yeah, this is their most progressive album they ever made. I love all the songs. Yeah, this album came out a year after What the Dead Men Say, and the band just took their time on this album. I think they worked on it for over a year now. That's all we know What the Dead Men Say. It sounded like they took like about a month to make it. This one, it took them over a year, I believe. And holy shit, they've done it right on this album. I have to say, this is one of their best albums from Trivium I've ever heard. I love this album a lot more than I thought I would. Hell, it's probably the best metal album of 2021. Fuck it, I'm gonna say that. So yeah, this album blew my mind away, and I've never thought I would hear more keyboard sounding to this album. So yeah, here are the songs, which is all 10 of all of them. Let me look here. Alright, In the Court of the Dragon. In the Court of the Dragon, Like a Sword Over Damocles, Feast of Fire, A Crisis of Revelation, The Shadows and the Abattoir, No Way Back, Just Through, Fall Into Your Hands, From Dawn to Descendants, the Phalanx. Now, if you want my more details on the song, go check my album review of In the Court of the Dragon. So yeah, I never saw myself putting this album at number 2, but it ended at that number 2. Sorry guys, it's not number 1. No, it's almost at number 1. I'll admit, it's almost at number 1, but it's at number 2. So yeah, In the Court of the Dragon comes in at number 2. Okay, now at number 1. Number 1, my favorite Trivium album of all time is still Shogun. Guys, you can't beat classics. You can't. This album is a fucking classic. Shogun. When I first heard it, I was blown the fuck away. But it almost dropped down to 2. It almost did. But no, it stayed at 1. Sorry guys, but Shogun is still number 1 for me. I mean, it will always be their best Trivium album, in my opinion. I know some of you would say Ascendancy, would think Ascendancy is their best, but hell no, for me, I think Shogun's their best. So, yeah. There's no denying that. So, here are the songs, like I do as usual. Kritsu Gomen, Torn Between Skyla and Calendas. Karemdes, Down from the Sky, Into the Mouth of Hell We March. Throes of Perdition, Insurrection, The Calamity, He Who Spawned the Furies of Prometheus and the Crucifix, Like Callisto to a Star in Heaven, Shogun, and 3 bonus tracks. Poison the Knife or the News, Upon the Shores, and their Iron Maiden cover. I actually do like that cover, by the way. But anyway, yeah. Sorry guys, but you can't beat the classics. Shogun is still #1 for me. I loved it back then, and I still love it now. It's a blown away album. So yeah, sorry guys, but it almost dropped down, but it didn't. So yeah, Shogun is still at #1 for me. And that is my current Trivium album re-rank. Now, I'm still taking a break on my new album ranking, just so y'all know. I'm just taking a break from it, so yeah. I think my next new ranking, maybe 9 Inch Nails. I do have thoughts on ranking that next. I don't know. I'm just taking a break from it right now. So yeah. And that's pretty much all I have to say here, guys. So yeah. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to me if you haven't. Click the bell, the notification. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and most importantly, share this video so I can get more views and subscribers. So till then, I'll see y'all next time. Peace out, everyone.